Today we are going to look at some ways we can use alternative education to support students that are at risk of dropping out. For the past 30 or so years, the completion rate has been hovering around the low to mid 70s range, which indicates that there are about 7,000 students that drop out daily, which equates to over 1 million students a year. With there being around 37,000 high schools in the United States, 1 million students dropping out yearly would be comparable to each school losing around 27 students a year. Surprisingly, students' grades are not the largest factor for dropping out, but rather it's alienation, disinterest, personal circumstances, and the lack of motivation or will to work hard. The notion that students' decisions of dropping out is a process rather than an event shows the importance of connecting students to each year of their education. There are so many growing frustrations with teachers and with students and families with the gaps in their education. Once a student's gap is identified, teachers should use different Tier 1 and 2 interventions to help fill in foundational skills that are needed for student success. The sooner intervention is implemented, the lower the frustration level students will experience, and the more engagement a student will have during that intervention that is geared towards their specific level. Current strength of our school is that we connect students and families to outside community resources. We ensure that students and families have access to in-school and out-of-school community resources, and we hold that as a high priority. Not only is the students' academic needs a priority for us and for our school, but the emotional and physical needs of the student and family are also that high priority. While our school does not have a specific special education program, we do partner with other local school districts and bring them in for IEP screenings and meetings. Additionally, we also make sure that if families need food, a place to stay, or transportation, that we provide or connect them with those resources from local shelters or bus passes. Most of the time, these situations are few and far between, but ensuring we show students and families we are willing to help and partner with them as a whole also shows within the educational classroom setting. Teachers focus in their classroom and throughout the building on building relationships with students and getting to know them outside of their academic abilities. When a student feels that you believe that they can be successful and a positive relationship is there, they'll begin to believe they can be successful as well. Our school does hold this belief that students will put in more effort and achieve higher levels of success when their teachers and parents work together for their benefit. Some areas of need that our school still has. Currently, we don't have a lot of volunteering or parent involvement, whether that's a disinterest or there's a lack of opportunity there for parents. We have parents come in to special events, they participate in extracurricular coaching and programs and help chaperone field trips, but there are not many other opportunities for them to participate in. There may be a disconnect and acknowledgement in the belief that all families are invested in their child's education. In the research, there's outlined a valuable family engagement format of joining, welcoming, involving, and connecting, which could benefit the implementation of greater parent involvement, starting with a clear process of how parents can be involved and welcoming and encourage parents to participate in programs that will give them options and information will also make them feel valued and included in that community. Ensuring parents are heard and have input within different school areas, as well as giving genuine opportunities to problem solve and think creatively, could help build the family engagement with our schools. Overall, if the communication between teachers, administration, students, and parents is more consistent and positive, I believe students and communities will be the one to benefit. Better communication is needed between teachers and parents, not just when intervention is needed. The communication system that's in place tends to be last-minute calls or emails by teachers to try and fill the needs for upcoming events. System is not ideal and does need improvement. Not only does it not give parents an opportunity to be active within the school and their child's educational process, but also places a heavier workload on teachers and staff. When a special event is planned, teacher-led communities plan and complete all the work for the event. With teacher-parent committees, parents can be more involved with special events and projects, and teachers can have their loads lightened as well. And that works into an improvement of some steps we can take. To work towards creating a better system of communication through our online grading and emailing system, we can send out monthly calendars electronically to parents outlining upcoming events and ways for them to get involved. Weekly newsletters will also be sent home with students. Committees, which have previously only held teachers as members, will also work to include parents from lower school grades as well as from middle school grades. With parents on the committees, an opportunity to be heard and more parent input can be given. Rather than waiting until a student is working through the process of contemplating dropping out, students should be proactive in providing support that those individual students need to ensure they are not being challenged beyond their frustration level. When students are taught in a traditional education setting, with the teacher being the center of the lesson and classroom, students are not properly challenged or given opportunities to think creatively or innovatively. Through the use of online learning being implemented into the lessons, students receive a personalized education, giving them a necessary challenge without getting to that level of frustration. Students need to be taught how to build and grow problem solving and critical thinking skills through the use of collaboration, modeling, and opportunities to research and have input on their education through the use of technology. Through problem-based learning, students can learn content knowledge from an area of content while learning and building 21st century skills needed for higher education and the workplace. Students need to learn how to work through problems and rework situations when they are not successful. Problem-based learning also allows for students to have more input in their learning process while still being able to assess their progress and standard knowledge. Teachers provide an outline to students on the objectives of the project, deadlines, what they will be assessed on, how they'll be assessed, and how they will receive and give feedback. The problem they will work to fix, and will provide support and additional instruction when needed. This type of structure allows for students to work at the pace they need while still holding them accountable to a deadline. Not all students can master a content standard in one class setting, which can build that extra frustration. Overall, we have some great action steps we can take for our school, for our students, for our families to help minimize that risk of dropping out and help support those students and families better.